Welcome to the Incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast, where intuitive movement educators Jem Burns and Stephanie Y. Jolivet help you to embody spiritual concepts in order to embrace your physio-energetic wholeness. And now, let's get to the episode. For those of you who are new here, I am Stephanie.
And I am Jem.
And we are the Incoming, and this is our podcast, Radiant Wellness. And today, because it's one of our first, we're going to discuss what is Radiant Wellness. And even just saying that, and you can even join me saying it here, Radiant Wellness, it feels big. It feels bright. It feels exactly what it is. And Radiant Wellness, in the way that we perceive it at the Incoming, is really, it's really a process that moves you from reactivity to grace again and again and again and again and again and again and again, because we are here to evolve. And so it really is this cycle of spiraling into deeper levels of your radiance. Now, what is that? That is when you can plug into your own source for all the answers. And it doesn't mean that we live in a vacuum. It doesn't mean that we don't consult our friends and loved ones. It doesn't mean that we, sometimes like me, hermit yourself, though if that is how you're designed, it's very important. It just means that it's a practice of radiant wellness, is a practice also of clearing space, of creating space to bring your compass back to balance, so that when you ask yourself a question, or when you have a question about your life, that you can tune out the noise and tune into you for clarity. When you do that, this is the really exciting part, when you are able to create that space and connect to you as really your own, like we just said, your light source. So it's like you're emanating this light, and you're also through that light. And I do think of it, we think of it here actually as your radiant light bubble, your RLB, that it is emanating around you. And what that does is it magnetizes all the people, places, things, foods, practices, movement practices, exercise, conversations, ideas, everything to you with ease, with flow, and with joy. So that already is a lot. So as we talk today, we'll just break it down for you and how we see it. At the Incoming, we view through a lens of physio-energetic being. So your body, really important, the physical practices, what you consume in all of your senses, your sentience, and energy. And because this beautiful goddess over here is just, her jam is energy. I'm going to throw it over to her to really expand on that, the energetics behind that magnetism, behind that tuning in to your source.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Energy is everything, and it's in everyone. It's everywhere. So it seems to be a pretty important thing to know about. And when we consider that we are energy, and then this radiant light bubble that surrounds ourselves, we can call it the aura or our energetic field, that is occupying space and is in dialogue with everything around us, with other people, with nature, with the streets, with everything around. It's always interacting on our behalf. And so that's why we can come to know the vibe of the room, or if somebody we come across, we can feel before we even talk, we can feel what is going on. Maybe they're in a bad mood. Oh, I'm going to just avoid that. And it's the sentience that we're speaking of here that we feel through our body. It's actually the navigational aspect of us coming into the harmonics of our understanding, of our deeper awareness. We might think that we have these big, powerful minds, and we do, and then we have these brains. And also our body and our energetics are working on our behalf to really attune ourselves to what is for us. So the more that you come back in to knowing your own energy and coming into that alignment, the easier that it is to understand what is yours and what is not yours, and what is meant for you to interact with or not. So it's about bolstering up that field, feeling that expansiveness in your field. Maybe many of us are feeling a little condensed, and that's the reactive energy that is collectively taking hold. But what we are doing in the incoming is actually bringing you back in to that space that is you, that return home. I like to think of it as walking yourself back home, and we walk in spirals. So sometimes you're going to make this circle and you're in the same pattern and you're like, I just got to get out of this pattern. But now you have awareness that you want to get out of the pattern. So you're actually in an overlook of that certain pattern that you're revisiting, and you have a space to see. So it shifts the perspective. So yeah, I would say that energy is everywhere. And the more that we attune or get in tune with our own energy, the more that we can have an impact with the energy around us. And that's people, places, things, all of life that is transpiring out there in the world. So it's very powerful to start to understand and start to really feel into your energy. Not think, feel into your energy, because we are sentient beings.
And I love that you brought us to the body. And it's not that to be embodied is not to be sort of spiritualized or disenergized, just disenergized. I was just, as you were talking, Jim, I was just saying it's a yin yang of energy, physical energy. That's why we have emotions to help us gauge. We are meant to feel, and the sentience, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I already mentioned it to you, dear sister. It was a revelation for me. I was like, oh, yeah, the body is the map. And I have been teaching embodied movement for many, many years. So I know this, and I've been moving in my own body my entire life. So I know this, but with a capital K, it came in. It's like, oh yeah. So then what are some tools? The tools are what we offer at the incoming is there's so many, and it's intuitive movement. And intuitive movement, you might have a sense of, oh, well, that's yoga. I teach really my own method now, but it encapsulates Pilates and gyrotonic somatic techniques. And I've been a dancer for a long, long time, so I can't help but bring that in. And yes, it is. And it's really any movement that brings you back, like you just said, Jem, walks you back home. And I keep going toward my navel point, because it's like, this is our plug right here. This is our plug into us. And so sentience is extremely important, because sentience is felt, smelt, heard, seen. What else did I miss? Tasted within your body. So if there is a disconnect in your sentience, then there will be a disconnect in your connection to your source. So that's where all that intuitive movement, and I really like what we're doing, to say the least, but I really love actually how we're reframing intuitive movement to be really anything. And again, it's any practice, it's any thought, it is any conversation, it's any food you consume, it's anything that helps you understand yourself better. And that is what we're here to do. You can't get out of it. That's what we're here to do, to learn about ourselves, learn and love ourselves. And so by creating this understanding that, oh, I'm both physical, I have this body, I'm meant to feel all things, and I'm energy too, or I'm spirit in human form, if you want to think that, that we do have this auric field, we have this radiant light bubble, we have the capacity to move beyond our physical, the densest frame of all, to tap into that. And then actually, again, it's this cycle of coming back in. And again, I love that you said home, heart open, moving energy. It's something I say every time I come to class. I encourage us to that's it. That's who you are. And that's where you are. That's where we are helping ourselves land, in that space of home in our bodies, so that then we can expand out. And again, it's always a cycle. So it's really a figure eight of out and in. It doesn't matter really where, do you start with your body? Do you start with your energy? It's going to cycle through it all. So what we offer are a lot of those tools to help you feel physically into your body. How does it move? Where's my pelvis? Just all those dense landmarks. And then also, how can you see what's going on in your energy? And again, Jem loves to talk about this, and I love to listen. So how do we land in our energy? How do we know what's going on in our energy?
I love this quote because I always say this as well, is awareness is the greatest agent for change. And until you have the awareness, you're just going to be in it, right? You're going to be looping through the pattern, through the cycle. I like to think of a record player, and it's just like you're playing the same song. You're playing the same song until you can get to the next track. So how do I get there is through awareness. It will be through awareness. Well, how do I have awareness of where in my body does it feel? You have to start to ask the questions. You have to start to feel into it, not to think, right? So we're getting out of the mind space and getting into the feeling space. And so for me in my journey, it started with accountability, like going to Steph's class and, okay, what's going on in your body? And I would know she's going to ask me these questions. So I have to tune in right away and be like, okay, how am I going to answer this question so that I can understand my body better, because she's very beautiful and wonderful at all of the gifts and the embodied practices, but she doesn't live in my body. So I have to be accountable to, how do I feel? What are my limbs saying? And you can do a scan of the body. There's many practices also that we will offer in the incoming. And then I would also like to bring in that the emotional part, the emotions are truly the navigational field. So it's how you feel is your emotions, right? They're the feeling part of you. And we have these physical bodies here. And then just outside of the physical body, outside, just on top, is a subtle body that is where our emotions lie. That's why you can come to tears, or you can feel it pressing on your heart in the grief time. And this body that's just coating your body all around in all of the ways is really indicating where you're moving. That's the navigational resource that we have to make shifts and changes and come into more and more of that awareness. So I would definitely say that the awareness aspect or component is invaluable for you to start to create change. From there, then you have way more options. But until you have awareness, your options are going to be limited, because it can be challenging to be in that looping cycle and not know, hey. But it can just start with an intention, like, I want to change, I want to see what's going on, and then start to, I always say this too, as well, is to get it outside the body, we have to see it somewhere else. So writing is a great way to start as well, to see it somewhere else, to reflect with a friend or a colleague, or if you're in a class, or you can always bring it to us here at the Incoming, and start to have that dialogue, right? Because when you have people that are holding you accountable as well, then it sparks this other energy within, that you're like, oh, I have to be prepared on this, and wait for the answers to evolve through the energy. Energy is elusive, right? It's like, what is energy? It's this thing, I don't know. It's like, oh, it's in the ether. But if it's in everything, it's in the dialogue, it's in the dance of life, it's in the creation energy. And that field is all around us. And that part is what is dialoguing with others. So bringing it back to the awareness, I think, is the first little key, like the A note. So I would say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this. I love this. I'm going to pause how it's in connection to what you're saying, because as you speak, I've been practicing the soft gaze. And so I'm just gazing. And so you said something, and it's sort of like I'm becoming energy. The screen in front of me fades, and I just can tune into your voice and my body. And that in and of itself is a really beautiful practice. And it's like you said, it's this dialogue. And even as we speak, we can feel, it's so interesting that energy seems to be elusive, because when you see the wind outside, you know what it is. And it's not because you can see it, it's because you can feel it. And it's the same with our breath. I was thinking literally in dialogue with someone in front of you, you're literally sharing something that you cannot see, which is your breath. So you can feel it. And then you can definitely feel the vibration of it as it exits. And again, it's this beautiful figurating of physical energy, physical energy. So if that helps you land in energy, if you're, I always say, like an energetic newbie, yeah, the wind is a powerful place just to observe in your own self, because the breath is life, is the wind, is something tangibly intangible. Now we know it, we see it, we see the effects of it, we feel it, we feel it. And that's what intuitive movement really helps us do physically, to hold space. Our nervous system helps us create space. And then, like Jen was saying, it's sometimes you might feel saran wrapped with with that emotional body in particular, and you'll feel it in your body. You will feel tension in your body, and already that awareness that she was just talking about is the first step. Even if the intention is unclear. I've been moving with a few clients that most of my clients come with pain. I tend to work with the 65 and older population, and I adore them. And already pain or sensation in the body, pretty loud, pretty hard to ignore, though we are very good living up here and ignoring the pain until it gets so much that we cannot walk, it interrupts our life. And then that is energy saying, you're stuck. What's going on? Why aren't you listening to me? I got to get louder for you to keep listening. So, yeah, holding ourselves accountable to ourselves, because you have it inside you, and your body, the densest of all, will tell you whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah, everything is energy first too, as well. So by the time it hits the physical body, it's where we call it pain. it's that it's been talking to you all along. Maybe it's in whispers, right? So part of our role at the incoming is also to, how do we hear those whispers so that we don't have to have it in the body, because nobody wants to be in pain. Nobody wants to feel the dis-ease of life. We want to be invigorated in our spirit. And so seeing it ahead of time can be really helpful, right? When we think about the space and the distance of something approaching, okay, I have more time to think about what do I want to do, rather than if it's already here. I have no choice almost if it's already right in front of my face and I'm like, have to deal with it. And then I'm going to come up in some bigger emotions perhaps. And so I'm always looking at the energy. I'm just a big geek on that, to really emphasize what is transpiring out there so that I don't have to feel it in my body. But of course, I'm human. I'm part of this experience on this planet, that we are embodied. And so this vessel in the body is very important. I've been on a spiritual journey where I've been activating a lot of gifts and abilities, and it's very higher in the chakras and very galactic and cosmic and beautiful, brilliant things. And also I have to bring that in because I'm human, and I want to embody my experience so that I can share. Because if I don't have that tether, that bridge through, which is the body, right? We're going to talk the toric field and how do we bring in the magnetism that Steph already brought up. It's a channel. We're a conduits, right? We're channeling all the time. We're interacting because we live in a reflective universe. And so everything is a reflection for us to play. Sometimes it's nature, the wind. To learn from nature is, there's a mastery to nature, that it knows how to transform and alchemize and shift and be flexible, and all of these aspects are there for us to see that in ourselves. And people the same. We come into partnerships with people, sometimes for a little bit of time, sometimes for a long time, and always can reflect and learn and become more than what you were, right? Because we're in a learning, we're in an evolution here. So the energetic part and how it comes into your awareness and into your way of being and understanding is a practice. It's constantly looking, and that's why we have so many tools. It's like, okay, well, for this job, do I need a wrench or do I need a power tool? It's going to be different depending the case. So it's starting to, okay, now I have all these tools in my tool belt. Now I get to decide which one and start to refine and make choices on that refinement, and then can keep evolving, right? We're like onions. So we're going to keep moving through the layers, and with different insights, with different tools, with different people, all to learn, all to evolve in this beautiful life that we are living here on this planet as human beings, right? Having this spiritual evolution inside of a physical, dense body. So very powerful.
Yes. And like we were starting with, it's a spiral. It's a circle, or it's several circles or infinite circles on top of each other that become a spiral. So, and we even said it at the beginning, moving from reactivity, it's really moving from reactivity through to grace again and again. So when those reactive moments happen, as Jen was just saying, inevitably they will. We are human. We are meant to know where we are. And those reactive moments allow us, oh, I'm still reacting like that, huh? Eventually we can get to that place of witnessing. And we must feel. That's, if we keep pushing it down or pushing it to the side, then it's going to keep coming up. And like I said, louder and louder and louder until it manifests physically. So it's a constant recalibration. And it's really, for me, it's really It's like, oh, I can take a breath. You mean it's going to happen again and again and forever and ever and again, forever and ever? Get okay. So if I set the intention, my intention several years ago, I have mon fils, my son is now a little over 3.5. And I set the intention, I want to be a calm mother because I wasn't calm. And there were many reasons why. I, at that time, was doing the best I could, and it wasn't a calm mother. And so it doesn't matter whether that was the correct intention. It led me down a path here, literally, to the incoming and sort of back and deeper to this beautiful goddess here, and a better relationship to my son, and just all these things that magnetized. And so does that mean that I am now a calm mother 100% of the time? Absolutely not. And the other day, I was like, oh, wow, I'm really feeling big emotions. I don't like sometimes when they come out toward my child. And yesterday it was yesterday, I could witness myself leaving the room. For me, that's a huge step. So it's your personal journey. And it's so important to remember that it's this cycle, it's this spiral, that even if you react in a way that you do not like, you will then be able to witness it with grace. And yes, sometimes you do need to talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time. Stephanie, you can't do that again. Or Stephanie, what are you doing? Or wow, congratulations, you did that. So that's actually, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Jem, for bringing me there. Bringing my brain body here. Because there's something really interesting that I want to share about the nervous system. But it takes as much space in the nervous system to accept your quote unquote negative, the emotions that we think of as our shadow emotions, the anger, the rage, the frustration, the overwhelm, as it does, I'm going to be up here, the joy, the pleasure, the peace. It takes as much. So it really is that yin yang. And we have this beautiful thing called a nervous system. And I'm going to introduce it here, this vagal state, we call it the vagal tree, the return to energetic equilibrium that allows for that in these bodies. And it brings us back then to sort of 0 point breath. And we can all breathe, whether we think we can or not. I've actually had clients come and say, oh, I can't breathe. Horrible. I was like, what do you mean? And I know what they mean. It's like when you go to a Pilates class and they're like, exhale and do this and inhale and do that. And exhale yeah, that's overwhelming. So we can all breathe. We can all talk to ourselves. We all have the capacity. I want to use that because sometimes, like Jen was saying, sometimes it's too tight. Sometimes we feel, and I felt this recently, that I cannot shift in this moment. And that's absolutely okay. It's for us then to recalibrate to equilibrium, to homeostasis, to be able to give ourselves grace. And that's where those power tools or the wrench that Jen was just talking about, where they come in. And sometimes they're daily practices, sometimes they're monthly, sometimes you do it every hour for 5 days and then you never do it again. And it really is, it's really finding the tools that you resonate with. And we've said it, we offer a lot. Mostly in this moment, what we do is mirror work, which will really lead you back home through self-love and self-awareness. I mean, you can't get away from yourself when you're looking at yourself. Though I say that, sometimes the brain can. But this sister, Jem, will lead you back in. And then through nourishing embodied movement or body-mind movement. And that's a beautiful synthesis there. I keep doing this for the yin yang, from looking at yourself outwardly to then feeling into your sentience inwardly. That's beautiful. And that's who we are at the incoming. Come join us.
Did you know? I love that you're speaking on calibration as well, because I feel like that part becomes the fun aspect of the frustrated patterns that are erupting all around is how I can refine this, how I can calibrate to a new position. How do I arrive at a different circumstance? Because it can feel like, okay, I'm in this again, I'm in this again. Okay, so now I need a new approach to how I respond or react. Let me try something different and see. And it's a play. We're all playing here, right? It's nobody knows. We're just operating. And so it's like, how do we operate? Well, you got to make a choice. Everything is there, right? So, okay, I'm going to decide this. Okay, well, that maybe didn't serve me so well. Okay, so it will come around again. Don't worry. Then the next one, you can make a different choice. And so that's the tools, that's the space. And I love this concept of radiant, breaking down the words, because we are very much wordsmiths. I don't know if you guys all notice. Stephanie's like takes a word and then makes other words out of the word, and it's in acronyms, but it's so poignant to really pump and infuse what that word actually means. But the radiance is the expanse, right? The radiance is like the sun radiates and we're just like, yes, let's radiate. And then the wellness, like when I think of like the wellness is the depth and the ness is like, oh, I'm inside. So I have this capacity to expand, and the expansion is also within. We are a universe. We are spacious inside. Stephanie talked a minute ago about the solar plexus point, this plugging in. It is our plug, right? That's where we came from, the mother. And then it got tied up and now it's ours, right? It's our source. And it's a very powerful center in a chakra aspect in the systems of how we determine energy within the physical body. It's the sun, it's the central sun. And so I really feel into that radiance as that space where we're out, we're in, and we're expanse. And guess what? It feels really good to be in your expansion within and outside. It feels good. Who doesn't want to feel good? I think we're all looking for that opportunity to feel good, to feel satisfied, to feel blessed and nourished and all of it. So powerful. I love that.
Yeah. And I love that you brought us to the solar plexus. I mean, I love that. I feel like I just recently made the connection. Oh, solar, sun. Of
Mm-hmm.
course. Like I don't know. Sometimes it takes the time that it needs to take for it to land in my body. And as you were talking in life and in the gyrotonic gyrokinesis methods, it's all about yawning. It's called the gyrotonic expansion system. So there's this beautiful system out there, so many systems. And when we yawn, if you think of yawning in the morning, what is it doing? It is literally shining. It's creating the space to shine directly from your solar plexus, your heart as well, all of the chakras. And especially, we tend to arch the back, we open up, we become the sun. And so any practice, and I love that you broke down radiance and wellness. Yeah, I saw it. Like the sun and then the well, it's again that balance of physical energy, the dense and the light. And anything that allows for expansion will bring you radiance. And it just made me think of that yawn and how expressive and expansive it is directly from that solar plex.
I would add that to yawn and to feel this like space, like you have to really feel safe to take that moment, like a lion. I'm thinking of animals always, like when they're just loafing around and then they're like, yeah, and they have no fear that they're going to be attacked in this moment of peace because their system is engaged, their nervous system is offering them the opportunity for safety. And the reason that I want to bring in safety in the body is because a lot of us can feel this maybe not so safe in the body, and to explore and to like look in where, I don't know, something's off over here, or have an idea about some part of the body. It's not working. It's my busted leg or my broken foot. I did break my foot about a year ago, and just the concept of broken led me down a path of having to recreate that term, because there was so much condensed energy surrounding that word. And I was like, I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I'm healing and I'm reforming. And yeah, my foot is not the same that it was, but it's offered me an opportunity to relearn how to walk, to move my feet in different ways. And now they're different. So it's, I mean, maybe they were always different, but it's offering me just more accessibility to the textures of the ground and the landscape. And so I guess when going there in this safety aspect is because when you feel safe in the body, you're going to feel at home in the body. And we are meant, again, because we're all here in these bodies and these physical forms, to feel. And what do we want to feel at home? We want to feel safe, secure, able to be vulnerable in our yawn and in our expansion and our stretching, and not judged, not whatever, like, my mouth is so big and whatever. So when we occupy that space from safety, from the lens of safety, we can operate with so much more vigor, so much more expanse is the word that I keep coming, radiance as well. It's like that invigorates the soul to be curious, to seek out, because now we're not just in our fear component in that lockup, right? So it's reframing, it's adjusting, it's tuning yourself. I'm gonna emulate Stephanie's hands as well. It's like reframing to retune, and okay, yeah, now I feel like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm finding a harmony here. Calibration, right? So it's taking all of the radiant light bubble around us, and then occupying it in the central channel to really hold. We're going to recapitulate all of the words we said, to hold that self, to hold that one that we are, and then to walk as that one on the earth. That is what we are here to do. I really and truly believe that in my experience and in my heart.
Oh, and it's so beautiful that you landed us there. And there's something about the connection of safety and slowing down that is absolutely interconnected. And I know it in my own life. And I also know we have this Align 5-week intuitive movement course, and we offer a daydream practice. And I think it's also culturally defined as lazy. It's like, what are you doing? You need to be working. Like, why are you why are you daydreaming? Get back to work. So there's a lot of noise that tells us, oh, you got to speed up. Still everywhere. Even here, I'm in France. Even here in France, it's very different. And there is a time. There's a more, I would say, in some ways, a more spacious culture. And you know why? Because it's a social system and people feel safe. If you're sick, you don't have to pay $1 billion to go to the hospital. And that's huge. That is absolutely incredible. So the nervous system here feels safer than for me in the States in a lot of ways, which is very interesting. And it does take the layers of the onion to slow down. And I say this from experience. And in this daydream practice, it's just 15 minutes where you daydream, you zone, you have an intention, and you let your mind go. And I remember feeling really anxious. And I was like, why am I anxious? There's nothing, like, my baby is sleeping. I was doing it when he was napping. I knew he had just napped. And it was fascinating. So So it brings us back to that cycle and clearing out. And it's also really, it's worth expressing that your body and your nervous system and your brain will only allow you to feel what is safe for you to feel in that moment. So the deeper or the more expansive, I just got a little bit of a flush there. The more expansive you become, the more you can hold.
Mm.
And that is powerful. And it's again just that reminder that wherever you are is where you are, and your body will protect you. Your body and your nervous system is designed to protect you. It's just recalibrating. It's like, do I need that? That happened to me as a kid. I'm an adult now. Do I need to have that pattern? Do I want that pattern? Am I able to let it go? Yeah, really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. That is so important to recognize, because sometimes you had told me this story when you were young, and it keeps coming through, because I mean that child that you were when
Mm,
you were in this dance recital and you were on the wrong side of the stage, and just the anxiety of being in the wrong space
yes.
and feeling like it's the nervous system that has to change that opportunity to feel safe to be there, rather than the body going through a different protocol. And so I always think of like, oh, it's when I'm in that situation as well, it's, oh, my nervous system isn't feeling safe to do something that I want to do, that I can think, and
Mm,
that my mind can be there and know that I want this, but I'm still clenched in my body. My body won't make the move to go, I don't know, talk to the guy or whatever, it is. And so I have to come back to the body, because that's what we do. That's the return. It's the walk home. It's the vessel. So without the vessel, we are not alive. We're not here. We're somewhere else. So being in the body, being embodied, being in, we bring this word in a lot because the incoming, it's inside. It's an inside job. What we're doing here is all inner work, because the inner work affects the outer work. We've been just in this program of like, do, action, go, go, go. And it's not serving, right? So we're reframing and re-coming back like, wait, okay, that's not working. Okay, what do we do now? Because we have the awareness, we can make a change. And so then we come inside and start to move. And Steph and I have been doing this work for many years, and on ourselves, just with nobody looking. Mirror work for me started as a totally different thing. It wasn't a thing yet. It was just something I was doing with my inner child, with my little picture of myself, just to work on myself. And then it evolved. And now I'm like, whoa, I'm in a portal, and all of these beautiful things that I can create. And my magnetism is strong because I'm working directly with the source. I'm working directly with myself. I don't have to go to all the reflections to get the lessons. I'm just like, right, focused in on myself. And it's like that with the breath as well. It's bringing in, we all know how to breathe. We all know how to breathe. So when we bring the consciousness to that element of breath and we slow it down, we can arrive in some sort of peace. We can arrive into some sort of safety. That's a check-in. That's an intention. It's a way to feel, right? We're here for the sentience. We're sentient beings. So we're here to feel, to really allow that one, the sentience, to thrive, to use all of our sensorium to expand, to feel, touch, taste, all the ones, smell, hear, all of the, which ones fit? All of the parts of us to operate in our highest potential. And so we keep reiterating, but come join us in the oncoming, because it's a place where we are developing a community. So our nervous system is also expanding through the people that come and offer this safe environment to play and to nourish and to restore and invigorate and calibrate and become and walk home to yourself, because that yourself is your power. It's not me or Steph or anybody else that's going to be your powerful guru. It's going to be you. It's time to be your own guru. And we also sometimes need help in the reflection of others that allow us to see more of who we are. That pause, that stop, that allowance, that inner work, that inside job, the depth of the self expressed allows for us to move in the world. And that's what I want to see in each and every one, is that they're living in the safety of their vessel and expansion of their being, of their radiance, to arrive in the wellness of their heart.
Sis, thank you for bringing us there. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And we will see you next time.
Ciao.
Bisous. Thanks for listening to the Incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast. If our vibration resonates with you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to join our community, theincoming.co, click the link in the description to gain exclusive access to our weekly classes, monthly offerings, intensives, and courses. Until next time, shine bright, radiant beings.